bit more.
Hey, Mike, you can hear that, right?
He doesn't hear
You can hear that?
So,
He couldn't hear you.
He
He could not hear you.
Keep talking, keep
Let's do
talking.
it one more time. 3, 2, 1.
Luke Cage, everybody, Mike Colter.
Hello, hello, hello.
Wow.
Okay, from here? Get it this way?
Treat him good, guys.
Wow.
Watch out, ladies.
Hello, guys. Thank you for coming.
Why kind of something like this feel to all of a sudden be a cultural phenomenon?
Well, it's funny because I thought this room was a lot smaller. You guys are, it's a lot of people in here. Thank you so much. It's great to be a part of the Marvel family.
This is a lot of coffee dates, Mike.
A lot of coffee dates, right? You see that? Nobody here likes coffee, though.
No.
I can tell. Nobody here likes coffee.
Mike, why don't you talk a little bit about taking on this role? Because, I mean, that had to come to you, and you're just like, were you a fan of Luke Cage? Stepping in his shoes are pretty big.
You know, getting this opportunity was kind of weird because I was always a big Marvel fan. I read a lot of comics books growing up from friends and family because I didn't grow up in a major city, so I could get my hands on my own comics. So I just took what my cousins gave me. They never gave me a Luke Cage comic book, so it was weird getting the opportunity to play someone I had heard of but never had a chance to read the comics for. So I think it benefited because ultimately, when you're really passionate about something, you get really excited. Sometimes it's really hard as an actor to just push that away and try to create the character and the origin and just trying to create them from scratch. It's very difficult mentally, so I think it worked out for me.
And so your familiarity with the character when you started doing episode 4, and we'll do no spoilers. Who's not seen Luke Cage? Raise your hands.
Not many.
There are
Wow.
3 people.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Okay, spoilers. Anyway. And I do love this series because you guys took a lot of narrative risks. You know, you guys had Daredevil, Jessica Jones. You were one of the. There are many highlights of Jessica Jones, but you were great.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, it was a great way to introduce Luke Cage. Jessica Jones' story was so unique. This broken, strong, yet strong, vulnerable female lead that I don't think a lot of people knew about. And then to have her story be told and to have you play a significant role in her story was great because then we were able to get those fans who were kind of introduced to the world of Marvel through her vehicle to then jump on Luke Cage's bandwagon. So it's a whole new world for Luke Cage, and they do have Iron Fist coming up, and right now I'm going back to New York. Iron Fist fans in here? Yeah? Yeah, Finn Jones, I was just hanging out with him yesterday, so I'm going back to New York.
You guys starting a business together? You guys starting a business together?
Yeah, we're going to be getting ready to do Heroes for Hire eventually. Come on, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Are you excited about seeing everything come together? Because like Jessica Jones, it was a chance for you to maybe start putting your toe in the pool of the Marvel Universe, right? Instead of just throwing you into one of the big movies or something.
Yeah, you know, it's weird because when you get a chance to kind of get in little bit by little bit, you kind of stick your toe in the water and check it out. It was a great way to do it because what we were able to accomplish by doing that is having Luke Cage in a way that he's not the lead, he's a supportive, confidant, boyfriend, lover, emotional support for Jessica Jones. A very, very, I would say, very caring Luke Cage that not a lot of guys understand how hard it is to be the boyfriend of a superhero woman who can also kick butt. That's a very kind of weird place to be in. You know, you got to really be secure in yourself to know that your woman is strong enough to lift the car, but you know, at the same time, you still feel like a man, right? So I thought that was a good exploration of Luke Cage for myself. I thought that was a great way to introduce him because he was very secure in himself. He was not intimidated by the fact that Jessica Jones could pick up a car because he could do it too, you know. So I like that. I like that way they brought him on.
But then when you start your series, in that first episode, you start to have a lot of doubts about what your role is in the world and your responsibility. And you're being pushed by Pops to maybe take on this bigger thing, but you don't have a context for it because Jessica's not necessarily a hero in her own right. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about maybe how you evolved through that character? Did they shoot it in sequence with I mean, was each episode shot in order, or did you guys start shooting the fabric of it all together? And how do you wrap your head around that process?
Well, what's unique is that, you know, when we're filming this, we try our best to establish the first 1 or 2 episodes. We film in what they call block shooting. So we shoot 2 episodes at a time. So often we're shooting out of sequence, and we're shooting things that happen after or before. We're just all over the place. So that being the case, we were able to...
Hello. I hate to interrupt, No, that isn't true. I like to interrupt. Mike, I just want to congratulate you on Luke Cage.
Thank you.
You crashed the internet with it.
Mission accomplished.
We have one of the biggest hits you'll ever see on television. Luke Cage, Power Man. And who is Luke Cage? My pal Mike.
Thank you, Sam.
I want to wish you all the best. And if anybody tampers with that show in any way, anything happens you don't like, you call me.
Will do.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, Stan.
Thanks for tolerating me. I couldn't even see it. I'm looking at my back.
One over here with the press. All right, here we go. Actually, give me the mic real quick. Okay. A second. Can we do one for the crowd? Mike? Yeah, right up here. Yeah, on the X.
On the X. X first. Here we go.
Let's hear from Stan Lee one more time, guys.
Stan Lee, can I take a picture?
I hate posing with bigger, better-looking guys.
Mike, you're a pretty imposing guy, but he's got to pull rank. It's his convention.
Oh yeah, it's his convention. Listen, this is why I came. I came because of Stan. You know, I hadn't had a chance to meet Stan before, so I really came because of him, because he kind of started us all. I mean, he's been here from the beginning, and it's been an honor to be a part of this fabric that he's established as a comic book, you know, aficionado. He's a grandmaster, godfather of comic books. So I'm in awe of him. So I'm happy to be in his presence.
It's a cultural institution.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, I mean, without him, like, what do we got?
Not much.
That other company?
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Just kidding.
Don't say it. No.
Just kidding.
We're not hating. We're not
No,
hating.
hey.
We're not hating.
We're not doing that.
We're all one. Common goal of entertainment, right?
And you know what? I'm reading almost all the Rebirth books, so there you go. And I'm also reading all the. Okay, I just read a lot of comics, Mike.
So listen. So let me go back to what I was going to say
Yes.
before Stan came up. You know, thing about this project is what was so great is being able to basically explore a character, because Luke Cage found his powers later in life. He was already an adult. Jessica and those guys, you know, Daredevil, they found their powers early on through accidents. Cage was already a full-formed man, had a life, had his own thing going on. So when you get this kind of stuff that happens later, it changes you. It's almost like becoming famous really late in life, as opposed to becoming famous when you're like 10 years old. So what happens is you become more well-adjusted and you take things a little slower. You know, you're a little more mature. So I think that's what's the cool thing about Cage. He doesn't take it for granted. He knows with great power comes great responsibility, and so he's taken seriously and he's going slow. He's growing into his role, and I think it's going to be a big difference if we get a season 2. I'll tell you that.
What I thought was interesting about the movie. She said there better be a season 2.
There better be a season 2.
Can we settle it with an arm wrestling match? Man. I think what's interesting is that the series felt important. And just like Jessica Jones felt important for a lot of women, I think that this series felt important for a lot of minorities and a lot of African Americans. But I mean, there seems to be a trend starting up, and it's a long time coming, and it's well overdue. How do you feel being at the forefront of that? Do you feel that responsibility?
You know, I can't say that I feel the responsibility, because as an actor, you're trying to give people something, and then when you give it to them, it becomes a part of the fabric of society. So the character lives on before me, and when I'm not playing it, someone else, it doesn't matter. It's an idea. That's what's important. So to be at the forefront of this and to be playing this character, the original Luke Cage, and the first black superhero to have his own television series, it's a cool thing. It's not missed on me. And so I'm always reminded by fans when I'm out in public and when I go places how important it is to these guys. And so I feel the love, and that's something that's really important. I went to Paris to see some fans on Paris Comic-Con, and I gotta tell you, I literally flew from LA, stopped to do a talk show in New York, jumped on another plane, flew overnight, got to Paris, and I mean, I was really tired. But when I got there, the energy from the fans, it gets me through, because I'm there for them and they're there for me. And so it's one of those things where sometimes you're doing stuff, it's good to get the feedback from the fans. So I appreciate you guys.
So episode 4, can we just talk about you getting into the original Luke Cage duds and what it felt like putting on that outfit? Because you saw it coming. They did it in steps.
Yeah,
it was really smart the way they did that.
Yeah. You saw the the tiara. You saw the bracelets. You saw the it was starting. You go, wait a minute. Oh, this is looking like maybe we just need a shirt. We need some pants. I loved it because I knew the fans wanted to see it, and we just needed to find a clever way to do it. And Charles Murray wrote that episode, and Charles Murray did it in a very organic way. And I think the fans got what they wanted. I also think the fans will agree that we couldn't keep that costume on the entire series. I think you understand why. I mean, could you imagine running around town with that chain belt, clinking? And people could hear me coming from a mile away.
Have you been to Hollywood? You've been to Hollywood?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I forgot. Yeah. That's true.
That's a really fun. I mean, there's a ton of humor in the series.
Yeah.
But there's also some really emotional moments. I love that one take master you guys do in the church, where it passes off to you, to younger Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole dance.
Yeah.
And you guys had a chance to do a lot of really emotional stuff, both stylistically and internally. What was the process like shooting everything as fast as hard as you guys did, and having to vacillate as an actor between the comedic, the light, the romantic parts, and also the action and the kind of deeper stuff?
Well, as an actor, you're trying to find things that will challenge you. I think we're kind of just scratching the surface for who Luke Cage is, because ultimately, and talking to the creator, Cheo Hodari Coker, his vision of Luke Cage is something that I think I agree on. I think what's great about Luke Cage is that he is a ladies' man, but not because he's trying to be. It's just because he is. And it's not like, thank you. He's one of those guys that secured himself. I mean, here's the thing. This series was born out of blaxploitation, and all that means is that the black guy is the lead. He gets the girl, he gets to kick butt, and he gets to look cool doing it. So when you see these great, stories back in the day, the Clint Eastwoods, the Steve McQueens, and all these, Lee Marvin, now you have James Bond. This is what this story's about, and so he takes front and center. And watching him go through these things with the humor of the situation, the romantic element, the fling with Misty, spoiler alert, which goes against the comic book. I know you guys know the comic book very well, so I don't think anybody anticipated there being something between him and Misty Knight, but I thought it was appropriate, apropos, that he and Misty have something. Then we have Claire Temple coming up, and it's, Jessica Jones, obviously we know what that means.
They can't put you in the movies because you'll just take all the women.
Well, I mean, there's that, right? I mean, I don't know.
We're looking at you, Scarlett.
I know we have Scarlett. Oh man, don't even start. Don't even start.
But that term blaxploitation, because obviously from the music to the style, I mean, they didn't call the Clint Eastwood movies and the Steve McQueen movies whitesploitation movies.
No.
Is it a term we need to get away from? I mean,
were
you a fan of that stuff?
I watch blaxploitation because what happens is, I think I watched Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again, Black Caesar, obviously Shaft. There's so many cool movies that were established during blaxploitation, but I think the era is kind of it has its time, and I think we should honor that time. But moving forward, it's the new era, and the new era is just the new normal. And it doesn't mean that what we're trying to do is take over television and film. We're just trying to be representatives of what is actually out there. When I look at this crowd, this is a diverse crowd. And I look at the crowd, I think this is a diverse world we're in. And
there's a couple of green people. There's a green person.
Oh, okay, there's a green person. Yeah, green and purple. I think I saw a purple person here too. So yeah. So honestly, we just want to be reflective of society. So I don't think it's anything unique about that. And people call the show a black, show. That goes without saying. There's some black actors in it. So I don't want to get held up on that. Luke Cage doesn't look at himself as a black superhero. He looks at himself as a superhero who happens to be black. So as long as that's okay with you guys, then
That's spoken like a true superhero.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
You're making movies, shows about us.
Yeah.
Except we have superpowers.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, you guys are being so vocal. I think we should get a microphone out here for. I mean, is that safe?
Some questions?
Get you guys out here? Is there a way to get a
Will you
microphone?
promise not to fight about it? Will you promise not to fight?
Give you guys some questions for Mike.
Will you be civil and take the
hogging
microphone and be kind? Yeah.
There was a mic up here for the last panel, but I don't think.
Well, there was.
It's flying out
there
right
you
here.
go.
So guys,
give this young lady right here.
Let's be civil.
She's been so vocal. She said we better have a season 2 right here, right in the corner.
I think right there.
Let's start with her, and then we'll move around. Right.
All right, ma'am.
Hi, I was just wondering how authors such as Walter Mosley influenced the show and influenced the character. There was lots of references to black authors, black musicians, and I was just wondering how that helped you approach your own character.
You know, it's a great question. We couldn't do all the things we wanted to do with the influences of some of the authors you talked about. But what is apparent in the show, and what I think is apparent to the character of Luke Cage, and what me and Cheo talked about, is the idea that as a black man who is growing up, who has read these sort of books, the literature from these authors, you're more reflective, you're more responsible, and you're a person that basically, you're a deep thinker because you know how the world sees you, and you know how you see the world. So what happens is, when I always refer to Luke Cage as sort of a Renaissance man. He's always under development, so he's kind of going through life trying to figure out where is he going and what can he become, not where he came from. You know, people always talk about, you know, life, and I always say, and I think Luke Cage is like this, if you're not changing, then what's the point of going on? You know, like, every day should be about, like, okay, I started here, what can I learn today that I didn't know yesterday? What can I do? Like, travel the world, see new people, learn new things. You know, that is what life is about, because when it's all said and done, when it's over, you want to be in a different place than where you started. And I think sometimes people think where they are in life is just the best place. Like, this is cool, I don't want to go anywhere, this is the best place. Like, why change? Change because change brings about, you know, a new conversation, a new development. I think that's what's great about Luke Cage. He knows that he's kind of limited. You know, he's a felon. He's an ex-felon, wrongly convicted. He wants more out of life, and I think everybody here wants more out of life. And I think that's what those books are about: finding the inner you and becoming the best version of yourself.
Thank you for the answer, and thank you for the show. It was a breath of fresh air to see all of these, like, political topics be shown in a way that made it easier for people who aren't influenced by those topics, like, to understand. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Was that, I mean, when you guys were doing a lot of the, like, episode 11, when you guys were touching on, like, the Black Lives Matter type of stuff, was that something that you felt passionate about, or?
We did. I mean, we didn't want to overwhelm the audience, because what happens is, you know, this is a show that first and foremost is about entertainment. That's what Marvel's established on. We didn't want to, you know, isolate people and make them feel like what they're watching was a Black Lives Matter show. It just happened to be a relevant topic at the time. We didn't write this in 2016. This was written in 1972. So the fact that this bulletproof black man who's unbreakable skin, all this other stuff, this is already established. It's just that it's still relevant today. And we're seeing more visuals, more recordings on television that make us think about this. But at the same time, Luke Cage, Black Lives Matter, you know, the Trayvon Martin thing, it's underneath the surface of who he is. It's not something we can escape. So rather than run away from it, we kind of tried to embrace some of that. And there's more places to go with that. But ultimately, nothing ever happens in minority society without the help of the mainstream white Americans. Because honestly, we're not ever trying to say one thing, that white America is different or white lives don't matter. We're never trying to say that, because it has always been through history. If you look out through history, it's been a concerted effort from both races to make the world a better place. So we can't do it alone. So we always appreciate people who are with us and are supportive of our struggle. So believe it or not, Luke Cage is for every person, so we don't want to ever isolate anybody, but we definitely wanted to touch upon some of the topics that were relevant, especially in the media. So we hope you appreciated that and we didn't offend anybody.
We still have that microphone out here for questions?
Yeah, anybody else?
There it is. The microphone's right here. So if you guys want to
couple guys, yeah.
very nicely walk over to this microphone.
You have to come around to the microphone,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come to, yeah.
It bit somebody an hour ago, but I think it's fine now. Yeah, go for it.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So given the chance, what character would you most want to work with in the movie Marvel Cinematic Universe?
The movie Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
The most character I would like to work with?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, I think everybody wants to work with Cap, right? Cap, Iron Man, right? You know, they got some really cool, expensive toys. You know, I'm hanging around in Harlem. I'm walking around. Be nice to get in one of those little, flying craft things and just, that'd be kind of cool. I can see Luke Cage getting in one of those things and buckling up. I mean, who wouldn't want to fly around with, with Cap and those guys in that big, whatever that thing is they're flying around in,
The helicarrier?
What is it called?
The helicarrier?
Helicarrier?
The helicarrier.
Helicarrier, right? Is that what it is, guys?
Yeah.
Well, I think Luke wants to be in the helicarrier.
Or maybe one like the Avengers Quinjets.
Yeah, just give me a little ride. Just give me a little ride.
Okay. All right. Next question. What do we got?
Infinity War.
The Infinity War.
Hi.
Yeah.
Who would you rather spar with, Daredevil or Punisher?
Oh. Well, it's not fair to spar with any of those guys because it's not going to be a fair fight. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not going to spar with anybody. You mean basically you want me to be the punching bag so they can get their aggressions out on me? Is that what you're saying? And I just stand there and take it until one of them hurts their hands?
Maybe.
Sure. I can be a punching bag. Sure.
Thank you.
Can we get one of the kids over here?
Oh,
You guys
yeah,
want to
hey.
come to the mic? Yeah, like, your friends think you're cool. It's great.
Thank you. Hi. I was just wondering if, whenever you were filming the series, did you ever like have that superhero moment where you feel like when you first get on set, like I'm a superhero, like other people have been added on, like, did you ever go like, wait, I'm a superhero, like?
Yeah, and when that happens, I have to kind of like pinch myself and kind of like take a deep breath and then go to my trailer and just kind of like pretend I'm not actually playing a superhero. Because it's very, very distracting when it hits you in the middle of like, you know, you're filming and you look around and you see all these people, like 120 people who are standing there to make you look really cool, and you got all these cameras and you have all these, you know, background people and all these cool toys and stuff, and you're sitting there thinking about it, and then you go, wait a minute, okay, I got a job to do. Then I got to go back to work. But yeah, it is a very cool feeling, and it gives me a little goosebumps, but you know, because when I was your age, I wanted to be a superhero too, so it's kind of cool.
I'm just working on that, so.
You're working on that? I think you got a young Cap over here. He's got a strong chin. I like that. Yeah, there you go.
He's got a camera. He's got a camera. He just needs to get bit by a red spider.
Yeah, right. That's all I know, right? That's all he needs.
Does your friend have a question as well? Princess? You good?
You're good? Okay.
Hi, first let me say that you look more handsome in person.
Oh boy. You know, I don't know how to take that because most people see me on television and film, so if I look better in person, then what does that mean? I mean, what is that? I mean, you know,
you gotta get a new DP.
I gotta get a new DP, all right? You gotta get some new camera guys. I should look better on camera. When you see me go, oh wow, he doesn't look that great in person.
So I did an essay on you, and that's how I got this kamikaze ticket.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to ask, like, how does it feel to be having such an impact on us young people?
You know, I don't know how to say, I don't know how to take it, because what happens is when I was young, I didn't think about how important role models were for me, because I mean, my parents, I grew up I was lucky, I had a family where I had both my mother and father there, so my father was my first role model, and then my mother was my second role model. And when I looked outside of that, you know, I didn't hold people up to a higher standard because I knew that they were just, you know, people, and I knew that they could be, you know, they could be fallible. They weren't perfect people. So when I look at where I am right now, I just hope that I inspire people to try to follow their dreams and to try to inspire them to go out and try to do anything they want to do. I mean, because obviously, look, Barack Obama's become president. I mean, he's done that. We got a black superhero on television series now. What else? I mean, what can't we do? I mean, come on. What can't we do? So just keep
We're about
following
to
your
get a
dreams.
female president.
Oh, well,
We're about to get a female president.
Female president. Well, hey, we're
Let's do
close.
it.
I mean, it's, you know, let's not jinx it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to say who I'm voting for, but I'm just saying, you know, just saying.
Next question. If you guys come on up to the mic.
And that microphone is not going to move, guys. If you're not going to get it, you got to come over here.
Maybe Stan can imbue it with powers.
There you go.
Let's get. We got one or two more questions.
All right,
sir.
How do you feel about DC?
She'll put me in the spot here. I know there's some closet DC fans out there hiding in the crowd. Don't try. See, there's one to come. So listen, like I said before, DC and Marvel are all about entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And what's great about DC and Marvel, it's like any other great rivalry. You're trying to push the other one to excellence. And so when I look at DC, I grew up, there's some DC comic book heroes that I liked. I can't mention them, okay? I can't talk about it, but there's some I like. And so when I think about DC, DC is always thinking of a new way of trying to challenge Marvel. And Marvel is always thinking of a new way to challenge DC. So that's going to drive both of them to being the best versions of themselves they can be. So that's what you want, open competition. You don't want a monopoly on anything. So as long as the fight's fair and as long as everybody's pushing everybody to do the best version of themselves, that's great. So, you know, kudos to DC for continuing to try to put out great products, and Marvel's going to try and do the same thing.
And if DC gave you like a role for a superhero, would you take it and leave Marvel, or?
It's not a football team. It's not like contracts. You know, it's not like NBA. I can get. You know, it's not that easy to get out. But put it this way: we all see the Verizon guys switched over to like. I mean, I guess we never saw that coming, did we? So you never say never. I mean, he's over there. Can you hear me now somewhere else? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Guys,
Good question, though.
I think they gave me a minute warning a little bit ago, so I think that's it. Guys, give them one last big round.
Thank you, guys.
And is it true they're going to kill you off the Defenders? I'm kidding.
You that got out already?
What God? Anything you can wink at the audience about the Defenders?
Unbreakable, yeah. Listen, the Defenders is actually something that I think the best part about it is that it's going to be a nice, interesting way to see how these characters interact, because what's so cool is that none of these characters really know each other. We all had our own solo series, we've all talked about each other, and we've all seen the other person do their thing. So it's going to be nice to see how we all come together and who we're going to fight. But the personal connection, I'm looking forward to bonding and some bromance going with Iron Fist. Hopefully he'll show me some things, show me some of those moves, I'm looking forward to meeting up with Daredevil. I'm looking forward to connecting with Jessica again. We'll see what happens.
And Mike, when you're not in a Marvel production, where can we see you elsewhere? Like, are you doing some films?
Oh, Halo, yeah, Halo. Halo guy over here. I got a chance. Marvel is all-encompassing and they keep me really, really busy. So we're going back to back. But I did sneak in a movie called Girl Trip. It's sort of a comedy. It's something different. I needed a departure from Luke Cage, so did this movie called Girl Trip, and it'll be out next summer, starring Queen Latifah and Regina Hall and Jada Pinkett Smith. Tiffany Haddish, who's another great comedic actress who's coming up, and it's directed by Malcolm Lee. It's got a great pedigree, and I hope it'll be a nice summer hit for the guys who like to see something funny. It's a girls movie, but I'm playing a husband who's got some problems, so we'll see.
Thanks
All
so
right.
much, Mike.
Thank you, guys.